All right. Well, we'll start with the very basics. What is the Woodchopper's Ball?
Well, it's the 21st annual Woodchoppers Ball. We bring in some of the most amazing guitarists in the world, have them come to Kent Stage. We limit it to 9 guitarists now. We started off there was 12. The reason that was so that the guitarists could play a little bit more music than they had when we had 12 and have it all fit into one evening. There's 3 guitarists on stage at a time, each taking turns playing round robin until everybody's played a total of 4 songs. And we do this 3 times. There's a lot of impromptu kind of jams that happen, which is just mind-boggling sometimes. And you're getting the very best performances you can out of these players, and the audience just has a blast because the guitarists, on stage are all having a blast. We only get to see each other at guitar gatherings, and guitar contests, and that sort of thing. So for all of us to be able to get together, this is kind of like a party. And then on top of it, it's all for a good cause because we're raising money for the homeless. And it's lasted 21 years for an event like this to last that long says something about how much fun the event is for everybody concerned.
Yep, sorry, we were a little spotty. So, all right, I think I still got you. All right. Well, like you said, it's been going on for 21 years. How did this initially
Okay.
start?
Okay. Well, it started in the early 90s with an idea I had. And I did it as an electric guitar show. I don't even count those at this point in time. It started in 92. I mean, it goes back a ways. And I think I had like 20 guitar players. We played Flash's Concert Club for the first one, and then the Agora Theater for the next 2. And it was good, but I got tired of playing rock and roll and being an electric guitarist myself, and now I only do it part-time, or if I'm sitting in with somebody else, I'll play electric. And I got tired, of all the giant egos and all that sort of thing that seemed to come with rock and roll too. And I just quit. I quit doing the event altogether. And then I went to Winfield for the Walnut Valley Fest and entered the International Fingerstyle Guitar Championships. I never won it, but I made the finals once. And I found that, most of the players I was meeting were incredible players and really, really nice people, and have forged a lot of really close friendships over the years from working with these people. And I wanted to do an event where we could all get together and hang out with each other and play with each other, but it wouldn't be a competition. It would be, something much more friendly.
Yeah. That's one thing. I'm very fortunate that I've gotten to do a lot of really interesting gigs in some pretty interesting places. Yeah, but that's, the drawback to that is I spend a lot of time watching the highway disappear beneath my car.
Oh, I bet. I was going to say, because you're an Ohio-based musician, correct? Like you're from around
here? I'm based in Ohio, yeah. But I hardly play here at all. Almost everything, especially since COVID, has been out of town. COVID killed some of my local gigs. I quit doing wineries. I just got sick of them. So now I'm playing, mainly festivals elsewhere, in other states a lot of times. And, I love what I'm doing, but the driving does get a little old. And I miss my little local gigs too. Some of them were pretty fun.
Very interesting. Yeah, because I love talking to a lot of the musicians that we have come through. So many of them seem to have Ohio roots, and it's either they've decided to stay here or they went, I got to go elsewhere if I'm going to keep playing.
Right, right. Yeah. If I were, to want to be a local musician and just stick around here, I would have a really rough time. But because I'm willing to travel and I'm set up to be able to travel, I'm able to make a living doing this. But if I had to just try and rely on, playing wineries and restaurants, I'd be in deep trouble trying to stick around here, which I think a lot of musicians, that's kind of what they want. They want some place where they can play a lot around their home base. And I understand that. I really do. But around here, that just doesn't seem to be a possibility and make a living anymore, as COVID really messed up a lot of places.
Yeah. I was going to say that's pretty much the thing that I think every musician I've interviewed thus far has said, COVID really made things weird for us.
It made things very weird, yeah. 2020, every gig I had was canceled, and some of them have never come back. Some of the local stuff, they just never came back. One restaurant I used to love to play once a month just couldn't get enough people to work to be able to open the venue, to open the place. I can understand that, but wow.
I mean, it sounds like you've obviously been playing music for a while. Does this feel like a strange time for
It's a
musicians?
strange time. Yeah, it's a very strange time. I've been playing. I remember I was playing in a rock band back when they changed the drinking age to 21 from 18 and 19 for 3-2 beers. So a lot of venues, clubs are open for bands to play where 18, 19, and 20 year olds could go. And when they changed it to 21, all of those places disappeared. I think I had about 6 shows that I had coming up in the coming months just disappeared. And of course, they never came back because they never lowered the drinking age. But yeah, there's been weird times. I've been playing guitar for going on 60 years, a really long time.
So I'm guessing you started young. What drew
Yep.
you to the guitar?
I started playing when I was 13 years old. I got my first guitar then. I'm self-taught, and I've played a lot for a long time. I started playing in bands at 17. So I've been playing in bands, professionally out doing gigs for 50 years.
Very cool. So what kind of music did you like growing up? Like what got you into wanting to play? What inspires you?
I was in the 60s. I was and I'm still very into the Beatles, the Who, the Stones, Pink Floyd, King Crimson. I really got into prog rock and jazz rock when I was a teenager. And I'm still very into it, although I'm playing solo music now, solo acoustic guitar, and I'm singing now as well. That's something I'd quit for a while and then went back to doing in the past 4 or 5 years. And, I've always been into classical music, especially orchestral stuff. And naturally, always a fan of all the different styles of guitar, from Chet Atkins and Andre Segovia to Michael Hedges and Jimi Hendrix. I mean, I have a lot of influences and a lot of things that, have influenced me over the years. And these days, I kind of stir it all up into a big stew pot. And whatever I feel like is necessary for that particular composition or what I'm trying to say, that's what I throw in. And sometimes I invent new techniques to be able to go a little further and say something else. It's never boring. And that's saying a lot when you've been playing as long as I have.
That's good to hear. I think it's a good sign. You're probably doing what you should be doing.
Oh, I'm definitely doing what I should be doing. And I'm in a unique position amongst other guitarists that I know how to put a show together, put on a concert. And I know so many incredible musicians that I can pick and choose pretty much who I have come in and do these shows with me. Because we've been doing various different gigs together for years. And because of that, I'm able to do a thing like Woodchopper's Ball. I only do it at the Kent Stage in Northeast Ohio. I've thought about taking it out on the road, but that would be too much for me because I know how to be a promoter. I know how to put on a show, but my first main thing is being a musician and composer. So those two are not always compatible because they both take a lot of time.
So I guess why the Kent Stage?
The Kent Stage is the perfect size, perfect venue. I like working with Tom. Tom is very easy to work with. He's always professional. He never blows smoke. He always tells it like it is, and I appreciate that just on a personal level. He's just, he's a good guy. He knows what he's doing. It's professional. The sound is professional. 650 seats is what about the right size for the event that we're doing in today's times. And I've done other shows with him. I've done a lot of openers there. If somebody comes in, it looks like it'd be somebody that I should open for, like Richard Thompson, for example, or the Straubs. I'll call him and say, I think I should be the opener for that. And if he agrees, he hires me for that. So I'm very comfortable there. It's like being in my living room when I walk out on stage. And everybody else that has come there is loved it as well. It's not the Akron Civic where you've got, millions and millions of dollars that went into just painting the place. It's just a good mid-sized theater that is run professionally and is solid. And, I know that things are going to work when I'm there. The sound is always great. I've never had bad sound playing the Kent Stage.
Excellent to hear. I guess you sort of touched on it before about, what you like to play and, kind of your inspiration in music. But when you pull together this many guitarists, how wide-ranging are their styles and genre choices?
Pretty wide. I mean, I've had guitarists that, that worked with the Cleveland Orchestra, down to people that nobody's ever heard of that are local, like Adam Lax, who's just a phenomenal guitar player, to people like Michael Kelsey, who in 2004 won this gigantic guitar contest that Guitar Center put together called Guitarmageddon, and they had the final. This is out of about 3,000 performers. I mean, players that entered this contest. They had the finals at the Cotton Bowl as part of the Crossroads Festival that Eric Clapton had put together, and he was in the top 10. Went out on stage and won. Got a standing ovation from 80,000 people, and he was the only acoustic guitar player.
Jeez.
Yeah, I mean that's the level of players that are coming in. They're amazing guitar players, and for the audience it's great because they get to see a whole bunch of players like that all in one place, all playing their very best and their best songs. Because you've only got 4 because there's 9 of us. We all we all want to be our best because we're surrounded by all our friends. We know they're pretty amazing. So yeah, it goes widely from bluegrass and classical to almost rock with in the case of Michael Kelsey, and the audience is definitely not bored. You're not hearing the same thing over and over again. It's not a classical guitar recital.
Yeah, I was going to say, so it's a very interesting format that you have. I kind of imagine it also sort of lends itself to, like you said, it's really fun for all the guitar players, but there's probably some level of like, oh, wow, someone was just really good. I got to step this up.
Oh, yeah. I have followed some of the best guitarists in the world in round robins, and it's like, oh, boy, here we go. What do I do after that? And that is part of the fun and part of the magic of it, because the audience gets to share in that. They see us up there, being amazed by each other and having fun hanging out with each other. And some of the jams are amazing too. And they're drawn into it as well. It's totally unique as far as any show I've ever been a part of. And I've been doing this long enough that, that my reward for doing this is that I get to be a part of it every year. Everybody has to sit some out because there's at least 60, 70 guitar players that I know that I'd like to have there all the time, and I can't. So my reward is being able to be there every single time. But it's just, I hope you're able to make it this year. I hope you're able to be there so you can see what I'm talking about. I'm not exaggerating about anything. It really is that much fun. It is that good.
No, I think it sounds like a very fun format. You touched on it a little bit, but how do you decide who you're going to have perform in a certain year?
Some of it is chemistry, reliability. Of course, as a promoter, I think, how are they going to draw? Who's going to, bring the people in the door, because we got to have that too. And that's all kind of a crapshoot. A lot of that is guesswork. But when I'm putting together a set on stage, I think about the way that the guitarists are going to interact with each other. Is it going to be too uniform a sound? Is it going to be things that, have a lot of energy? Whoever starts and ends a set, I want a lot of energy there. And of course, who's ever in the middle, is going to have to be good because they're surrounded by whoever played first and last. I mean, and there's singing there too. I mean, there's singer-songwriters. I'm a singer-songwriter. Helen Avakian and Dave Irwin are going to be there this year, the Red Door Duo. And Helen is, one of the best singer-songwriters I've ever heard. Plus, she can play Rhapsody in Blue on acoustic guitar.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's that level of talent. And consequently, Helen's been invited back many times. And Michael Kelsey, too. So they're the people that, come every year, ask about certain players. They'll ask about Michael, they'll ask about, Mark Skanga or Helen or, Bill Russell or, any of the people. Jesse Smith, who 2 years ago won the International Fingerstyle Guitar Championships, lives in Wadsworth, Ohio. So, they're coming from all over the place. I've had people from Canada and Japan, and I've had people drive far away as from Kansas just to see the show, because it is unique. It is unique. I wish this is something that could go out on the road and be shared with other cities. I just do not have the time and energy to do it. Otherwise, I would.
I was going to say, it remains a very kind of special event.
Yeah, it's special. It is definitely a one of a kind, and for anybody that's into guitar or just wants to see this much enthusiasm on stage and fun, this is a great show, and it's unlike any other that people will have seen. And for it to have lasted 21 years now, and making it through COVID and coming out on the other side of it, that really says something about how cool the show is.
Very nice. You touched on a little bit before, but a portion of the proceeds benefit the Northeast Ohio Coalition for the Homeless. Is that,
Right.
like, do you always choose a charity? Is it always that one?
It has been that one for many years. When I first did it, I think it might have been the Salvation Army, Harbor Light. But that was back in the 90s when I was doing it as an electric show. Northeast Ohio Coalition for the Homeless gives, they're kind of like an umbrella organization. So it goes everywhere. I thought about working with food banks, but I don't really have the time and energy to be worried about, delivering food. I don't have a truck for that. And all that would be a bit of a pain. So I'm hoping that some of this money trickles out to the food banks and that they're able to get something from it.
Excellent. I think that's always a very nice idea.
Yeah, basically, I tell everybody I'm the benevolent dictator. I choose all the players. I choose where they're going in the sets, and I choose the volunteers. We have volunteers, one volunteer each for every musician to watch their merch, their table, so that the musicians sell more CDs, which is important to the musicians' bottom lines because they don't get paid much for this. I pay as little as possible because I let them know. I say, all right, how much money are you going to take from the homeless this year? How much do I have to give you?
There you go. It's a labor of love then,
It very much. I mean, for me to continue to do this, I joke with the crowd. I mean, when I started doing this, I had blonde hair. I didn't have a beard, and people would say, "You look like Robert Plant or Sammy Hagar." And now I joke, and people say, "Yeah, you look like Santa Claus." I've been doing it long enough. I've gone from Robert Plant to Santa Claus.
There it is. I mean, you've touched on it a little bit, but I was going to say, so you've been doing it for over 20 years now. How has it changed? How has it stayed the same?
Well, since it was an acoustic show, originally I started off with 12 players. We did our very first one at the Beachland Ballroom. We did a few at Tri-C West, and then we moved to the Kent Stage. And then later I trimmed it down to 9 guitarists, which was really difficult, but it was a necessity because we couldn't have, a 5-hour long show. And so I wanted to be able to give all the guitar players, say, somebody's driving in from Nashville to play 3 songs. Well, I would say, well, how does 4 songs sound? And that made all the difference, because people are coming from some long distances to play this event, and they don't get to play a lot of songs. So, we've had, in the acoustic guitar world, we've had some of the most, famous acoustic guitarists out there do this thing. We've had Muriel Anderson and, of course, Michael Kelsey and Andy McKee. People that are out there really kicking it, known on a worldwide level. I remember Andy was telling me about playing China, and he got off the plane, and there was a billboard with his picture on it. And that was all because of YouTube. He hit it big on YouTube when YouTube was just first getting going and became the most viewed guitarist ever for a long time on that channel.
Really impressive. Tell me about the name again. Explain Woodchopper's Ball.
It's multi-tiered. People, some people call a guitar an axe, and when a guitarist practices, some people say they're woodshedding. And there's a Woody Herman song called Woody Herman from the big band era called Woodchopper's Ball that was later redone as a rock piece by Alvin Lee and 10 Years After. And I just thought Woodchopper's Ball would be a great name for a big party for musicians to get together, guitar players and some of the best players around, and play for the audience. So it stuck, and it's been the Woodchopper's Ball since its inception.
Excellent. All right. And then lastly, what should folks expect for this year's event?
Mind-blowing guitar playing right off the bat. A lot of fun. A whole lot of fun. like I said, we are having a lot of fun on stage, and anytime the musicians are having fun, the audience has fun. And I'm hoping we fill the place. We've actually dropped the ticket prices a little bit this year to make it a little easier for people. I believe the tickets are going to be $20 in advance, which is really inexpensive for what they're getting. I'd love to see the Kent stage sell out and have it standing room only. That would be beautiful. But the audience is going to, expect, virtuoso guitar playing. I mean, I've sat in the audience before and literally seen people's mouths hanging wide open watching the show. So you can expect that too, seeing things you didn't believe were possible on guitar.
That sounds excellent.
Mm-hmm. And I do hope you're able to make it, Brooke.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm very intrigued. I didn't realize it was, quite this format.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to get the word out. I'm not a marketing genius by any means. I could use all the help I could get marketing, and also I'm too busy to I don't have like a marketing arm. Like I said, I'm the benevolent dictator. I do an awful lot of this stuff on my own, and I ask for volunteers for certain things, but I have not found somebody willing to volunteer all the time necessary to be a big marketing arm. That's one of the things that the Kent stage does that I really like, that I was not able to get, from doing the college. I mean, they gave me the room, but there was no advertising, nothing at all, on their part, whereas the Kent stage is really good at getting the word out about their shows.
I very much appreciate you talking with me today.
Oh, you're very welcome.
With your day.
Thank you. All right, you take care.
All right, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye.